Yes, well, as you know, I've had this for some years. I must have 12,000 rounds to it at least. And never had any real hiccups, but somehow my wife might have engaged it or whatever, but she engaged the internal safety, and somehow I was able to get the hammer back and pull the slide off and trying to clean it, and it locked up. Could not get that internal safety to turn it all. I spent 2 hours on it, and you know I'm no weakling, so had to come down to the decision that I had to disassemble part of the pull out the trigger assembly and work it internally. So, and I looked on forums and I saw all kinds of this, that, and I couldn't find any videos about it. I saw plenty about the trigger disconnect, but nothing about that. So, figured I would do a video, show you how to take out the, not trigger disconnect, the magazine disconnect, and how to fix it if that gets locked into the safe position. So, most of the forums said it was either worn parts or excessive gunpowder, or residue, which it ended up being the latter. When I pulled it apart, I didn't really see any but the normal kind of little wear on a couple of spots on the slide that you always get with 22 pistols. But there was a caked, god awful lot of 22 powder residue, which we fired below 10,000 rounds. So I figured I'd show you how to disassemble the P22 and both take out the magazine disconnect and how to fix if your internal safety gets locked in the safe position. So, and all you need is a little fine little flat head. Can't speak worth shit today. For one part of it, Phillips head with a number 1 or number 2 bit, good pair of sturdy needle nose pliers, and some punches, or the redneck punch, the Allen set. So let's get to taking it apart. First, yeah, this one will be safety Sally. Now around in the chamber. Alright, so you go to your normal breakdown of the pistol. Alright, you don't even have to disassemble the barrel. And leave that right there. Put this to the side. Now when you do this, you're going to have to take out these 2 pins. Now make sure to note that the one at the front is longer than the one in the back, so that you put them back in the correct place. I'm using that, and use rubber mallet or bullet puller works very nice. Alright, get it over here to the edge real quick. Now, after you got your roll pins out, I have to watch out your slide release here has a little spring under there, so we don't want to go flying. I suggest you kind of start it like this. Hold your finger right there. Keep it pressed down there. And now you got your frame. This is your trigger assembly. Pull it out. You see that little spring right there? It just sets in that recess. The little bend part of it goes in the hole. you can hold on to it. See, it's just been like that. That part goes in here, like so. You got to bend that down into that recess, and it fits like that. So put those to the side. And if you want to make it a little easier on yourself, set your pins in the frame like that, so that you can keep track of which one goes which. Alright, now put those to the side. Now, you got these two screws here. Got to remove those. And when you put them back in, you just got to put them lightly snug. Don't try and wrench them down. They just got to be snug. Now you'll notice also that these are two different lengths. I don't think you really need to know, because it pretty much won't, one screw won't go in the other hole because it's too long. Alright, now and turn this over. There's two things you want to make sure of. You don't want this pin to come out because it's holding your trigger assembly in. That's more detailed than you need to do for this. Also, you want your hammer assembly to stay on this side of the frame. So we just take that and kind of press it over just a little bit. Alright. Try to press that in down as far as you can. Kind of helps it stay, this trigger assembly stay on that side. Now you can use flat head screwdriver, whatever. We have something better. You just kind of try gingerly press it out. Start trying to do this from the other side of the camera. So you want that hammer to stay on that side. See a little pin in there, peg, whatever you want to call it, holding it in. So you want to make sure that doesn't come out of there. No, that's another thing. Your ejector is going to come off. That's not a problem. It just sets on two little pegs in here. Take that and just kind of tap that back in. Alright. And like I said, you just want to make sure hammer stays on that side. Like I said, just gingerly, a little bit. A bit there. Alright. Now, pull that part off. Alright. So, problem is, when that gets, when you turn the safety, that turns. You see that little piece right there? It prevents the trigger from moving. So what I had to do, I had to take the pliers and actually grab it and turn it clockwise back into its firing position. Alright? You just, it's not difficult at all. You got a little piece right there that sticks out, and you just turn it. Put that back into place. Alright, so once you turn that, you can see there's a little J spring in there, hold it into place. So you just turn that, make sure that way. What the problem was is there was an excessive amount of powder that was in there where you can't really get to when you're cleaning, and it just, I don't know how it happened, but it had this locked up and I could not budge it for nothing. So once I got in here, turn that back manually wasn't a problem. And at the same time, that is your magazine disconnect spring. That puts tension down on this, which stops the sear and everything from working. So all you got to do to remove this is just take a little pick or something, pull it out, and bam. You don't need that for nothing. Alright. Now, your ejector here, I'll zoom in a little bit. As you see, it's just no nonsense. Only going to go on there one way. Bam. Alright. Now, once you got that straightened out, got your disconnect spring removed, take your trigger assembly frame, speak correctly, line them up. Alright. On the other side, push that peg back in, as far as it'll go. You need a little bit of rise, just enough to hold the slide stop on. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch, somewhere in that area. Alright. Make sure everything's going on alright. Snaps in place. Good. Now flip it back over. Put your screws back in. Like I said, you just want them snug. You don't want to really wrench them on there. Just kind of lightly screw it until it just stops. Bam. Voila. Okay. Now, make sure to press that down as far as you can, just so your nail works. Now this is the part that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. I find if you take your, get it focus here, put your spring into place, alright. Put the bar on there. And kind of press down on that like that with the spring in the indent. Bam. Goes right into place. Okay. Now hold it like this while you go and put your trigger. Oh, let me zoom back out. Good look. Alright. Put your trigger assembly back in to the frame. We'll test to make sure your spring didn't come loose. We seem to be good. Alright, come back out the other side. Of course, the pin just fell out on me. That's fine. Longer pin is the front. Make sure. So longer pin goes in the front. And the shorter pin goes in the back. Here, we'll just hammer it in first. Tap them down. It's a plastic hammer. Not gonna mar your gun. This is a plastic or a rubber mallet. Now, when you look over, you're gonna still be in there. You want to get them nice as even as possible. Just take your redneck punch. Just tap it a little bit. I need a little bit on. Yeah, about even. Yeah, I might have pushed it a little too far through. Alright. Now you're ready to reassemble. The little guide tool that comes with it. You can use a dowel, whatever. Guide that in there. So make sure it's in the right hole, Eric. Make sure that's all the way down. Snap it back together. You notice no magazine. And you're able to work the trigger. Alright, hope this helps people. Oh, and as a final step, take this key, dump it in the trash somewhere. Alright, you don't need that, not with a manual safety. And if you didn't like the magazine disconnect, throw that spring somewhere too. So, works fine. Go back to that. So, there you go, guys. I know the video is kind of long, but there's a lot of information. And like I said, just be careful and mindful of your springs, and be gingerly when you're taking that part, that side off of the trigger assembly, and should go nice and smoothly. Alright guys, later.